Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Tom here from the Doctors Collective. Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook and YouTube. Gonna try and keep eye contact with everybody. So today, what we're talking about is a question that I get from a lot of really highly qualified doctors and entrepreneurs, people who have these incredible degree specialists in different areas, consultants, surgeons, and they're like, right, I have this big vision for the future. I want to fulfill this mission of mine or start this business. And before they become private clients of ours, we talk to them about what they want to do, what they want to achieve. And one of the big questions they have is, why would anyone listen to me? Why would they choose me? Why would they come to me for help? Like, who am I? Why would they want to work with me? Why would they choose me? And I'm always shocked when I hear that, because these are people who are like, specialists. They've worked for years. They know what they're talking about, what they're doing. Highly qualified, intelligent, capable people, and they're wondering, what? Why would anyone listen to, buy from, or want to do business with me? But it's understandable at the same time, because here's the thing: in medicine, you've gone through years and years of training to be even allowed to practice. But in business, you can just jump right in and do it. Or people or doctors have gone through exams and proven themselves through tests and different courses and programs and things before they can then say, I've got these letters behind my name, you should listen to me now. But when they go into a new field where that doesn't really work, and it doesn't work in business, unfortunately, people don't really care how many letters you have behind your name. They're like, right, why would anybody be bothered, working with me? But here's the thing: two big points that I want to address today, and because you have what you need right now, or you can easily get it, and I want to talk about that. But first, I'm doing these lives every day of January because I want to get the ball rolling with a lot of our followers who are doctors, who have a big vision, which might be slightly different out of the usual clinical practice. It might involve clinical practice, but it also might involve business, or just business in itself. Or maybe you want to write a big book, become well known for what you do and who you are, and run programs and retreats, or start a business that's kind of different to what's out there at the moment, not just your usual clinic. But it might involve your clinic, but you want to do things a bit differently. And so I'm getting the ball started. I'm doing a bunch of these live videos this month, and we've got some great things in store for you. So come along and watch them and enjoy. But back to what we were saying. Now, why would people listen to you? So two things, right? Two things. Firstly, let me put it up on the screen so you can see it. You're a doctor, right? You're a doctor, no matter what level. Maybe even interns. For if you're working with the public, by virtue of you being a doctor, you already have credibility, and people will listen. Now, you then need to be able, hey, Camila, welcome. You then need to be able to prove yourself, and that's going to be my next point in a second. But by virtue of you being a doctor, people will already listen. Now, what I like to say is that being a doctor, when it comes, a good analogy is that it makes the handle of the door easier to turn. So you can open the door, but then you need to then step through it and make stuff happen. And for a lot of the people that I speak to, a lot of the specialists, they often have they're not just doctors, but they have incredible qualifications and experiences and abilities that they have to share with the people that they want to be helping, but still they're doubting themselves. And so that kind of leads me to the second point. And the second point is even more important than the first. Other than being a doctor, what you need to do is show people that you can help them. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter how many, welcome frontier psychiatrist, it doesn't matter how many letters you have behind your name. It doesn't ultimately, yes, it opens the doors, but then you need to prove yourself. And then at that point, it doesn't matter who you are, what your name is, what you look like, or, anything else. You need to be able to prove to them that you can help them. You need to be able to show the person you're talking to that you understand what they're going through, almost better than they do. Right? You need to be able to show to them that you understand their problem and that you can articulate exactly what they're going through, not just on a practical sense, but on an emotional level as well. The fears, the doubts, the concerns that they're having, and what they're going through, not just at work, but with their family, how it's affecting them at home. The doubts that they're having, the concerns, the worries, the stresses, how it's affecting all of that as well, and the practicalities of the problem that they're having. And often, just by virtue of you being able to articulate the problem better than they can, you will be given it's almost like they give you, you're shown that you understand what they're going through. So by virtue of that, you can help them. Or then you can then go and actually show them that you can help craft a plan that will actually show them how you can help them to achieve the outcome that they want. And that's what we do with our private clients. We get them on the phone, we have a conversation and see what is that they want to go through, what the problems that they're having, what they're struggling with, and where they want to be, and then craft a plan as to how to get there. And that's what you need to be doing as well. And by virtue of doing that and the experiences you have, the fact that you're a doctor, people will want to do business with you. This is what I've done for the last 12 years. I've been in a number of marketplaces. In fact, one of my favorites is I work with one of the toughest crowds there is. The people who are some of the most stingy, strapped for cash, critical, sarcastic, ironic people you can come across. And I'm not talking about doctors. No, I'm talking about university students. People who are living on $1 a day, it seems like, right? People who are struggling and have seen it all before, and we sell them a high-end tutoring program that helps them to get into medical school. And we've done really well over the last 12 years doing that. And how do we do that? Well, through this. Yes, being a doctor helps to, you're a doctor, you've done this, cool, I'll listen to you. But then we need to prove that we can actually help them. And so we say, okay, what are the problems you're having? Oh, you're having this problem. Are you also experiencing this? And this is why it's happening. Are you having these emotional doubts and worries and concerns? And they're like, oh my God, yes, it's like you're in my mind. What's going on? Well, I've done this a few times over the last 12 years, so I know exactly what's going on. And then we say, okay, well, where do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? Okay, I want to get this score. I want to live this life as a doctor. I want to help these kinds of people. Okay, well, let's put together a plan as to how you can do that. And then we break it down into a 3-step process that shows them, and they're like, oh my God, this is fantastic. I need this. I'm going to convince my parents or whatever. I'm going to take extra shifts at the work. I'm going to sell some shit I don't need. I'm going to make this happen. And that's how it happens, right? That's how you can do it. And you know what? It doesn't even matter if you haven't been in business for that long. I'll give you another example. One of my colleagues is a dietitian in Melbourne. And as you know, dietitians, the way they usually work is they bulk bill their patients $120 bulk billed an hour, right? And they see whoever comes through the door. This dietitian charges $4,000 for a 10-week online course, and they've shut down their clinic and they choose who they work with. And then once they're finished, people have finished paying them $10,000 for an online course, which takes them about an hour a week to deliver, right? Then they upsell them to a $10,000 5-day retreat where they go away to this exotic location and they eat amazing food and they show them what to eat, how to eat, and how to feel great, and they have a great holiday and hang out with some really cool people. And they're dietitians, right? So why are they able to do this? And how can you do this too? Well, a couple of things. Firstly, they're able to, they don't just take in anyone who comes through the door. Right, just like the way we do it. We don't work with just anybody. We work with specialist doctors and surgeons or PGY5+ who want to do things differently, maybe part of their clinic, but do it in a different way, or they have a big vision for the future that they want to change the system, start something amazing, and they probably have a small family. They love to travel, have a good time, drink wine, drive fun cars, and travel, do cool stuff like that. And this dietitian who they've chosen they work with entrepreneurs, only with entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you why in a second. But not just entrepreneurs, they also work with burnt out entrepreneurs. Okay, so they further narrowed it. So they don't just take anyone who comes through the door of the clinic who wants to be bulk billed. They say, no, we want specific people, entrepreneurs who are burnt out. And why is that? Well, this comes down to the topic or concept of niching. And I'll talk to you about that a bit more in other videos because I don't want to get sidetracked here. But they've chosen entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs, well, they like working with them, for one. Secondly, burnt out entrepreneurs, by virtue of being in that position, they've worked for a few years. Okay, they've worked for a few years, maybe like 5 to 10 years. They've been working and busting their ass and doing really well by that point. And so, firstly, because they're doing well, they have the money to pay for the course, right? They have the money to pay the $4,000 10-week course. And number two is if they're burnt out and they're running a business, there are huge pain points that need to be addressed. They really need the help, because if they don't get the help, it's going to cost them a lot more than $4,000. You know, they're losing clients. They're going to have difficulty getting new clients because they just over all the crap and they don't want to do the work to get new clients. Or the current clients might be unhappy because they're not performing as well as they used to because they're not as passionate about what they do. Now, this might be sounding familiar to some doctors listening to this. And they might be having relationship problems at home, which is going to cost them dearly emotionally and possibly half their net worth if it doesn't go particularly well when they get divorced. And the problem with kids and health. And so there's a lot on the line. And so there's some real big need and pain points that need to be addressed. So they have the money, they're willing to pay for it. And by virtue of having this really narrow niche, my friend, the dietitian, can really understand what it is that they're going through. They can really understand that person's problems and pain points and how to help them. And then they can really speak to them and really articulate the problem that they're having and show them that they can help them to overcome this. And that's the same thing you need to be doing, you know, really pinpointing who you want to be working with, how, and being able to articulate the problems that they're having. And that way, like I was saying, people will understand that you know what they're going through, and by virtue of that, they'll give you the rights to help them, and you can also give them the plan as to how to actually do it, and you probably know what that is anyway. So I hope that's helpful. Yeah. If you like what we talked about, hit the like button, share it with some friends. Come along to the next one. This is I really like talking about this. This is a lot of fun. It's going to help you to, earlier this month, I spoke about building that big vision, planning out the year. If you haven't seen those, go and watch those recordings, where now we're starting to talk about how to possibly start getting there. What are the steps along the way to getting there? And this is one of them as well. So come on to the next one, and I'll see you next time.